Hello, Beatle friends and everyone else watching. I want to do a quick response to a thread started by James Griffiths, aka Beatle James. The thread is titled "Being into the Beatles When No One Else Was." I feel this is an interesting topic, and I'm gonna contribute to the thread as much as I can, James. So hope you enjoy this response as well as everyone else watching. Now, what I'm going to talk about basically is about going into work with I currently have a job, and and talking about my grade school past where the Beatles were talked about and all that. So hope you enjoy this little response. I want to start off by saying that I currently have a job. I work 5 days a week, 40 hours a week. All my co-workers all have different interests. When I go to work, all I do is get my work done. I don't even bring up the Beatles in any way, because the people around me don't even look like they're Beatles fans. I don't want to talk about them and all that. And I can tell that my coworkers have different interests from me, because they basically listen to modern music, a bunch of the music I don't care for, and there's some modern music I like that they play, but they pretty much play like the R&B and the hip hop stuff going on that are hits today and all that. Yeah, I will mention, that I go to work, I just get work done. I don't even talk about the Beatles, really. I don't bring them up. But I will go back about 20 years. When I was in grade school, I was very little at the time. I remember a math class when I was in 5th grade. There was a teacher who was going through math problems, and we solved the math problem with him, and the answer turned out to be 9. And after that, after he wrote down the problems on the board, he brought up Revolution 9 from the White Album. He actually, after writing the problem on the board, he goes, "Raise your hand if any of you have heard of the Beatles." And everybody in the classroom raised their hands. And then after that, he talked about a song. It's not really a song, it's just a track. There's a track on the White Album, which is Revolution 9, where it goes number 9, number 9, number 9. And he asked the class if any of them were aware of that. And half of them were, but what's funny, the ones who raised their hands are not really Beatles fans. Like how did they know about it? Did their parents play the music, or someone that they know that likes the Beatles play their music and all that? It's kind of strange. But vast majority of the class don't act like they like the Beatles. They're not really fans. But and another school moment I want to bring up was I don't know if it was months later or something. We were going to watch a movie, and the teacher asked the class for suggestions, and we contributed some movie ideas, what to bring in, and then she suggested that what do you think of the movie Yellow Submarine by the Beatles? And they all go, "Don't bring that in, don't bring that in." I said no. At the time, I said nothing. I just let it pass by, and that's it. Let's see what other movies that she can bring in and we can watch. But I didn't blab about it. I didn't get upset or anything. I didn't because at the time I've already seen the movie Yellow Submarine. I've watched it many times when I was little. Like, I'll watch it in my spare time. I don't, I don't need to watch it in school. Watch something else. So, but after that, you know, I mostly keep the Beatles to myself. When I go somewhere, you know, and if I see someone with a Beatles shirt, I can go up to them and say, "Hey, I'm a fan of the Beatles. I like that shirt." But and of all the people that I bumped into wearing a Beatles shirt, when I acknowledged their shirts, none of them said anything bad about the Beatles. They're not just like hipster kind of people, just wearing a Beatles shirt to look cool, and then you go up to them and say, "I like your shirt. That's a great shirt." And then they go, "I don't really like the Beatles, and I don't know why I have this shirt on." I'm very glad I haven't had any of those interactions with random people about that, who wear a Beatles shirt. So, but after that last moment I talked to you about, where the teacher was asking if she could bring in Yellow Submarine for us to watch. I've not had any moments where I'm like the only Beatles, I feel like I'm the only Beatles fan, but no one else likes the Beatles. I just, like I said, I keep the Beatles to myself. I just let people be who they are. I don't try to blab about the Beatles to them, trying to, if they ask me about the Beatles, I'll talk about them, and I'll help them get into the Beatles. I'll let them know what album they should listen to first by the Beatles, and I would suggest the Beatles One album, because that's how a lot of people got into the Beatles, was the One album. Now, I actually got into the Beatles with a similar album to One, and that's 20 Greatest Hits, which is it's the US version with the 20 #1 hits that made #1 here in America. That's how I became a Beatles fan, because my parents played a cassette of that all the time. And I've been a fan of them since. And I played the cassette all the time, because my parents lended me that 20 Greatest Hits cassette, and I played it like endlessly. And I became an instant fan. I love the songs. All right. I can't think of any more moments where I'm being into the Beatles when no one else was. So hope you enjoy this little response, James, as well as everybody else watching. And James, before I end the video, I want to say I still want to try to make a video response to your wacky album cover thread that you started months ago. I was going to do a response. I had some albums I was going to show you, but I wasn't pleased with the result of the video, and I scrapped it. I'm going to try to do it again, but I'm going to have to post the video on my other channel, because some of the album covers I'm going to show in the response are going to have female nudity, and I don't want to show any more nudity on this channel, because I want to keep this channel family friendly, because I understand I have young kids, younger people watching this channel, and I want to not offend them. I'm not going to take a chance to try to offend them in any way. So look out for that video, James, when I get to it. I think the thread's over, but I don't care. I'm still going to try to do a response, because I feel bad I didn't put the video up. So look out for it on my other channel. And I am going to show a John Lennon album that's wacky as well. So, alright, that wraps up this short video response to being into the Beatles when no one else was. I hope you all enjoyed this response, and talk to you all later. Thank you for watching.